You know, times are depressing when we start live exactly on time. Welcome to your therapy session. Good evening, everybody. Hope you've been able to get some sleep, and welcome. You asked for a therapy session, so here we go. We are going to try and somehow cheer everyone up after the watershed this week. So what was that? So crypto is unrestricted. Oh God. Anyway, I hope you guys are well. Cheer up. It may never happen. You know, the week can only get better. Oh wait, no, hold on. We're going to be docked points tomorrow. So let's get the depression out of the way. Good to see you all in the chat. As always, you know what to do. Get those likes up. Let's get those likes up. There's already us going live over 100 of you in here. Hit those likes, subscribe if you are new, and I don't even know where to start, man. I just don't know.
We could just run the last 7 or 8 goals.
Yeah,
because
we could.
It's just the same. It's the same again, isn't it? Last minute, corner, goal.
You could have got ChatGPT. You could have got ChatGPT to write the script for that game.
Maybe that would have spiced it up a little. All right. Let's bring this to order. So I want to talk about in general the game. Then I do really want to talk about this Nuno agenda, and I've even seen people say Cooper's refreshed now, bring him back. I'm like, what are these people? No, seriously, we're going to talk about that as well. And we'll talk about, I don't know, just whatever BS comes up. Ez, how are you feeling, bro?
I'm at the same place as everyone else, and I think until we get tomorrow's announcement out of the way, which I'm going to give us credit for, because we don't get enough credit. People can't just honestly say that when we're right. If we say something with earnest announcements that, you know, it's not coming out, just take our word for it. We're not going to say something that's not true. And quite early on, Wolfie came out and said that, you know, the announcement wasn't going to be made before Monday, and even still, people were denying it and coming up with all their own ideas of what was going to happen. We won't know till tomorrow. Simple as that. And once that's out,
it may not be tomorrow. It may not be tomorrow.
It may not even be tomorrow, right? But the point I wanted to make is that after it is announced, I just want to switch off from Forest for a couple of weeks, because I want to ask the chat as well. Are you guys just fed up with football at the moment because of what's happening? Because I am. I'm glad of this international break. It's the first international break this season that I've actually looked forward to, and I hope a few of you guys agree with me, because I can wait for the football to come back. I need this break. So let's get this PSR announcement out of the way. We'll obviously have a chat about it with you guys, and then let's have a break from football for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I blamed 2 people yesterday for the result, Nuno and Rob. And he had the audacity to put a comment in. I saw your comment, Rob, in the video. Don't blame me. It is your fault. Chat, do you blame Rob for what happened yesterday? Yes or no?
Yes.
Rob, how are you going to defend yourself when it's indefensible? Is that the right word, man?
Just because I predicted something, that doesn't mean that's causality, right? But, I mean, we tried to win 1-0 against a team that has scored against 16 other Premier League defences in a row. How's that going to work out for you? So I think we're all guilty of perhaps putting way too much emphasis on yesterday's game, because as I was trying to say, even if we'd lost it, there was still 9 games to make it up. And even if we'd won it, we wouldn't have been home and dry. So, and as I said, when you have these games that both teams can't afford to lose, they do have an awful habit of ending up draws. And, you know, it's finished now and nothing has changed, except there's one fewer games left. You know, we are where we were before.
What do you mean nothing's changed?
Oh, it didn't resolve anything. It was a 6-pointer that wasn't a 6-pointer. In the end, it was just nothing. But you know, if I was to try and put a glacé cherry on top of it, we've just come off the back of 3 1-0 defeats We scored a goal. We didn't lose away from home. And I think that the referee had a fantastic game. And that's another feather in the cap of Mark Clattenburg.
Oh, you're going there already.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, you just didn't.
Like it,
Why
Rob.
did you invite him on today?
Come
You
out
might be
fighting!
talking crap,
Come out
but you
fighting!
stick to it. I like
Yeah,
it. I like
absolutely.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move on. And what was your take on the game, mate? Let's talk about the lineup. What was your thoughts when you saw that team sheet?
Yeah, I think I put in our WhatsApp group that I would have had Callum Hudson-Odoi playing. I would have had Elanga on the right. And what didn't I like about the defense?
Dominguez.
Sorry, yeah. Honestly, folks,
I'm not putting words in your mouth. It's what he said.
Yeah, no, I'm worn out with it. I was trying to think. I said somebody, but yeah, Dominguez. Why was Dominguez not playing? I can't get Yates and Sangare. That's negative for a start. You know, you need somebody to play up further up the field. And then I thought for the first 75 minutes we were okay. We weren't good, but we were okay. It was kind of comfortable. And I put in the WhatsApp chat again. As soon as he made those defensive substitutions, I said, "We're full. We've shot it," because that was Cooper at its finest.
Pure.
And we knew what happens with Cooper Ball. We concede. So I have to put it down to Nuno. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happened to the guy. Before we signed him, I don't know if you remember, but I did say, you got to be careful. He is a defensive manager, And everybody say, no, look at this, look at that. I said, well, okay. And when he came in, it was like a breath of fresh air. And I thought, I'm glad to be proven wrong. I don't care. What I'm seeing is exciting. We're scoring goals. We're looking like we could be a team. And now all of a sudden, it's like shit himself. And this is not the first match that he's done this. Brighton away, playing no wingers. Villa away, shocking. That's 3 consecutive away games. I think Nuno has cost us, and we can't. Listen, I'm not in the sacking brigade.
No,
in any way.
You're not. You don't want Cooper back, Ant?
No, I don't.
You sure?
I don't. I'm sure because that last 15
even
minutes yesterday
that.
would have been the full 90 for every game. So no. And it was such a shame because we were easily the better side. They were creating absolutely nothing. They've got no guile, no creativity. Barkley's their only decent player. And after the first, 15, 20 minutes, he was pretty much nullified. We missed some glaring opportunities. We had 2 cleared off the line. All this. We all know this. We've seen it before. But the worst thing for me was going defensive, 1-0 up with 15 minutes.
Yeah,
22 if you include out of time.
It was the timing, wasn't it?
Against a very, very poor side. What happened was we were controlling further up the pitch with midfield. As soon as we brought those players on, we started to sit back, allowing them then time in midfield to find their wingers to put the crosses in. And that was down to the tactics, nothing else. It wasn't down to good football by them. It was down to tactics. So I'm really disappointed. When that goal went in for them, I don't know about you guys. I just didn't react. It was like, shit.
Kind of expect
because
inevitable.
I'm used to it now. It's not a shock. So that's pretty much where I am. Very, very disappointed. I do blame Nuno for it. And I hope, although we said this after Brighton, I hope he's looked at it and realised we are a better side when we're progressive. There's no point in defending. If we defended well and didn't concede goals, I could say, yeah, I can understand after 75 minutes doing that. But we don't. Every time we do it, we let goals in. So what's the point? So go on, I've just about.
No, I was going to say I can understand him making that change, but not at that stage. It was far too early. Do it with 5 minutes to go. Do it at 85 minutes. I can understand it, but at 75 minutes,
even that though is even that. If you're controlling the game and you're going forward, even 5 minutes to go, you're inviting pressure on. And a team like Luton, that is all they've got. Yeah, that's all they've got.
No, exactly.
So I don't even think 5 minutes to go. You need to do it.
The problem is saying at half time, they need a couple more goals just to kill this game off, because as long as you leave them in the game and they score late goals as well as anybody else, and set pieces as well, that's another set piece goal conceded. Another 2 points dropped from leading position. That's 22 points we've dropped from winning position.
21 wait till next week for it to be 22.
21, sorry, it was 19 and then it's 20, 2 points. But for me, you talk about 6 points, as Rob talked about 6 points. That's 6 points we've not got against them. We should have won both those games against them. That's 6 point swing for me. As simple as that. And it's down to in both games down to negative tactics. And it was just, it was poor.
I have to correct Rob on something though. He did say that
where's the list?
It was it was the same, it's status quo, same as. It's not. We improved 1 point on Brentford.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. I think we're guilty of obsessing a little too much about Luton, right? Because I think Brentford are the worst team in the Premier League right now. And I'm taking that as like points over the last 5 games. They've got 1 point in the last 5 games. That is the worst record. So if we just keep getting draws, we might just nudge ourselves ahead of them.
Rob, let me ask you this question. Who's the last team Brentford beat?
It's us, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, of course it is. I mean, just of course it is.
Was it another 3-2?
He does have a point, a big point.
Can I just defend Nuno over the substitution, right? Okay, so he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. So Wood was injured, right? So I think everyone should agree that we need Wood for those next 2 games. Absolutely. So Wood had to come off. The problem for me is that he doesn't have enough faith in Reyna or Rodrigo to pose that attacking threat. Now, if I look at all the late goals that we've conceded, almost all of them have been in games where we've ceased to offer an attacking threat, right? So the minute we, it's always at the end of the game where we're sort of clinging on and we've ceased to offer an attacking threat. And already the opposition team's thinking, oh, well, we've got nothing to lose. But if they're convinced that we've got no way of scoring against them, it just triples the pressure. And I think the big worry for me about yesterday is that those 2 players were not seen as viable substitutes for Chris Wood. And what's most damning about it is, I said about Nuno, come on, the guy's only had 1 transfer window and he couldn't spend any money. But both of those players have been brought in during Nuno's tenure as manager, and he clearly doesn't have confidence in either of them.
With a Mendes link as well.
And you could argue, okay, maybe it's a pressure situation. You're not going to bring on Rodrigo in a situation like that away at Luton in a 6-pointer. Every fucking game between now and the end of the season is a pressure situation. Every 90 minutes, right? And if those 2 are not the guys to come on when Chris Wood gets an injury, then why are they here? So that was the one thing that I got annoyed about, Wood had to come off when he did, and I hope to God he's all right. Otherwise, we're in serious trouble because we need to win those next 2 games, right? But, what is the point of that? And he's been working with both of them for over a month, right? So, he's had time to work with them and tell them what the job is in our formation. And he subbed Gibbs White as well. So Reyna is the ideal sub to Gibbs White.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
I think that's the one thing I'm gonna pick up on. Now the problem is, you see, that if he'd got away with it, if Felipe had come on and we'd managed to actually shut up shop like we've never managed to do this season, except perhaps away at Chelsea, if we'd managed to do that, then we wouldn't be judging him harshly now. But he gambled wrong.
We didn't.
I know. He gambled wrong.
Say if he'd have scored that goal, if he'd have done that, if he'd have made that, I'm saying you can't do it in football.
He's gambled wrong, and now we're all on his back. And I think I am so glad we've got 2 weeks to get that out of our minds, because we've got to come into those next 2 home games with an attacking mindset, because we are so crap at finishing our chances. We're going to need to dominate Palace and Fulham as much as we dominated West Ham, because we should have won that game 4 or 5-0 against West Ham, but we managed to make it to scrape at a 2-0. We're going to have to be so on our game for that. And, I think it's going to take 2 weeks to get Brighton and Liverpool and all of that in the rearview mirror.
The problem is, Rob, I feel like he made a double fault, because you can sit back and defend, but if you're going to do that in the 70th minute, then you best make sure that you've got some attacking prowess on the field in case you concede.
Outlets, yeah.
Yeah, so not only did he make the substitutions too early, first of all, we didn't need 3 at the back. Bolly and Murillo were fine. Murillo had an
100%.
excellent game again, as he always does. Murillo was fine. There was no need to go 3 at the back. When you go 3 at the back that early, you're just going to invite the pressure on. It's what we criticise Cooper for, and he started to do that. I don't know why, because when he first came in, we were averaging 2 goals a game, and now that's dropped considerably, and he's gone into this like panic defensive mode. But to make it worse, you then take off your attackers when you have attacking players on the bench. Right, you have Ribeiro, or if worse comes to worse, you go false 9, but there's still no need to drop a 3rd defender in. So he's made like massive errors there. The last few games, his game management has been negative, and it's having a serious impact. We should be sitting here tonight with winning that game. It shouldn't have been a draw. We should have won that game. We should have kept attacking. Bournemouth showed him. He said in his presser that he'd watched the Bournemouth game. He'd analysed the Bournemouth game. Well, they won by just going attack, attack, attack. So why the hell after 70 minutes did he decide to sit back and defend? It doesn't work. And then another few pointers. Alanga and Origi yesterday, they have to put those chances away. Yes. It's the Premier League. You've got to be more clinical, especially the second chance for Origi and the main chance for Alanga. You've got to get those in the back of the net. I mean, you can't expect to win games if your strikers and your attacking players can't even challenge the keeper on those. So that was really bad. But yeah, the thing with Reyna and Rodrigo is ridiculous. What's the point of bringing them in this season? I mean, we've heard.
Can I just answer that one very quickly?
Yeah,
I understand people's frustrations, but not all, by a long way, not all transfers work out. And maybe they just come in, maybe they just don't fit.
Not according to crypto, man. Not according to
we've heard from the Republic of Ireland International, which I found out earlier. We've heard from the Republic of Ireland International that in training they're very, very good players. That's their natural position. Why are players getting played out of position? It didn't work under Cooper. We criticised him for it. It's not working under Nuno. If you play players in the wrong position that they're not used to, they're going to struggle. And we can see it game on game on game.
He got slaughtered, though, from you lot.
But he was playing out of position.
Because he played one bad game at left back.
Yeah, but we didn't blame him for that, did we? We blamed Nuno for that. No, but Nuno shouldn't have played. We had Toffolo. We had Toffolo on the bench that game. Toffolo is a good left back. I don't want to go back over that game, but the thing is, if you're going to play players out of position, then I don't know what you expect. And his game plan yesterday should have been kill the game off. It's Luton Town. Why are we panicking with 25 minutes left on the clock, including injury time, against Luton Town? I know some people sit here and say, oh, we'll beat Sheffield United, we'll beat Burnley. Well, we might not at this rate, because on paper we should be beating teams like this as well.
But as a fan base, we know what.
And Luton let in 4 goals in their last 45 minutes.
Yeah, and he analysed that game. He said it in his presser. He said they watched him and the coaches watched the game. Well, I don't know if he said the coaches, but he watched the game that night. He should have known the best way to beat Luton was just to attack their box until the end of the game and just try and score as many goals as possible. Taking off your whole attacking line, even if one of them's injured, is just a
they were getting tired as well. You could see it. They were starting to misplace even more passes, so they were getting tired as well. And what did we do? We gave them a big shot in the arm.
Is there an argument to say he was happy with a point, and that's what he was protecting?
Yeah, but he shouldn't be happy with a point. That's negative football.
I don't agree. He shouldn't be.
It's negative football. If we get docked 6 points tomorrow, we're in the shit.
No, because Crypto, he went 1-0 up. Sorry, he went defensive when we were 1-0 up, so he wasn't setting for a point.
No, I mean he's protecting. At worst, he's protecting a point.
Yeah, but that's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, defend if you want.
Obviously,
don't take off your attackers as well, because if you do concede, then you're buggered. It was more likely when we conceded.
I've said it.
Yeah, but it was more likely when we conceded that we were going to lose it 2-1 than win it 2-1. We had a bigger chance of then going on to lose the game.
But drawing the comparisons with Cooper, is this Nuno under pressure? Is this Nuno under pressure? And is this
Yeah.
how he's reacting? Because
They
there's
should be able
been
to deal with.
obviously-
They should be able to deal with that.
But it's
Hold on.
been
I
one
want to move on to that,
hasn't
Ed.
it?
I want to move on to
Go
that
on.
right now. Let me just get the
Yeah.
super chats caught up. Dylan, thank you so much for the 14 months, buddy. A very good evening to y'all, as the Americans. He's not American, but I'm just saying it. Thank you so much, Betty. Paul with the 19 months.
19
Thank you
months,
so
mate.
much,
Well
Paul.
done.
Appreciate it. Noah's in the house. I don't know if he's been banned recently from any football stadium or what, but
More
thank
than
you so
likely.
much for the 199. Sup, lads? Still healing from illness, my poor team. Hope you're
Yeah,
feeling
thank you.
better, bro. I mean, we're probably going to depress you further, but at least you're here. You're here amongst friends. Chris with the £2. Thank you so much, buddy. I'm not banking on anything against Fulham. Yeah, the Fulham scared me yesterday. I'm not going to lie. And
We got
Marky
Palace
boy,
before, though.
as requested, thank you for the 19 months. I moved Ez down the
I
pecking
thought
order.
something wasn't right, but I didn't want to say what it was. I couldn't figure out what it
I've put a poll. I put a poll up because we are going to move into this Nuno Cooper thing. Who do you want in charge? I got Nuno, Cooper,
How you
and
doing?
Rob as the options.
Rob.
Nuno's in the lead with 45%. This one's going to make someone's jaw drop. Rob's in second place with 27% of the vote. Ant's
Soon
in
as you
third
put
place.
Yeah, as soon as you put Cooper, I thought, well, at least I'm going to finish bottom, surely.
I know what I'm voting for.
And Cooper's in last place, sorry, with 12% of the vote. So, yeah, I don't know if Ant and Rob need to do some kind of pitch just to get their votes up. But Ez, kick us off on this debate, because I did do a video today about it, saying, is Nuno turning into Cooper? I don't think he is, but I'm seeing traits within him that are similar to Cooper, as we've just discussed about, you know, the Bardet version 2s with your Reyners, etc., and going defensive. Felipe was his Worrell substitute against the same team, if you like. But I think it's a debate that needs to be had. And the other thing I want to explain to a few of the guys in the chat, because I've seen some weird comments in the last 24 hours from the Cooperites coming out, is if someone criticizes Nuno, it doesn't by de facto mean that they're Nuno out. Yeah. I've criticized Morgan Gibbs-White before, and he's one of my favorite players. Doesn't mean I want him kicked out of the club. But if you see I've criticized my own kids. I don't dare criticize Ez because he's brown. So, you know, down that route.
The only reason. But no, I'm with you, bro, because it's like you can't. We've always been honest on this show. In everything we do, you know, we give our opinions. You're not necessarily going to agree with them, but that's why we give everybody a wide audience. You know, we've got a loyal fan base. Thousands of people watch us week in, week out, and we can't thank them enough. I can't believe that they still do, but they do. And we've got varied opinions, and not everybody agrees with our opinions. But if there's something to be called out, we do genuinely call it out. And with what's going on with Nuno at the moment, for me, he's caused most of his problems over the last few games, and especially yesterday. There's been excuses with referee decisions. There's been excuses with injuries and all sorts of manner of reasons you can come up with. But yesterday showed me that he was feeling the pressure. And that's why I said, was he protected rather than go out away with nothing yesterday? He was protecting a point, because to make those substitutions with 15 minutes plus injury time, let's bear in mind, you know, and I think it was an extra 8-10 minutes, wasn't it? Added on at the end of the game.
Can I just counter that point? Because they didn't look like they were they didn't look like they were going to score, and they were tiring. So
I know. I hadn't finished making a point. But
defend the lead. There was no pressure at that moment in the game.
No, exactly. So that's what I said. The point I made was he's invited it on himself because it wasn't there. So he's by making the substitutions, changing the tactics in the way he did yesterday. He invited all that on himself, and for him to get 1 out of 10 from Wolfie yesterday, I kind of have to agree with him. You know, because we could have quite easily seen out of that game. But Forest are Forest, and from a fan base, we knew it was inevitable something was going to happen. But he should have known that as well. He's seen enough of Forest now. He's seen enough of the opposition as well. We see how they finished games off. We know that they will try and stay in it, and they had everything to fight for. We just needed to keep the status quo. 1-0 up, I would have been happy with that. I'm not one of those who said I would have been happy with a draw before the game, because just the difference of having that gap whether we get 3 points or 6 points tomorrow. If we got 3 points, and we would have been 3 points clear of them. But also going back to, I felt we should have beat them in the reverse fixture. So for me, yesterday we had to win. And Nuno is, for me, the pressure's building on him. And that's not how I want to see him react. We need to be more positive. He's got 2 weeks now with the majority of the players. I don't think we're losing too many to internationals, going away for internationals on this one. But Nuno really needs to start drumming things in. And there's a lot of things that we can talk about. But there's problems with set pieces. There's problems with shooting. There's problems with concentration late on in games, and we've done it over and over again. So Nuno really, if he's got a problem, he needs to sort his own head out before he tries to fix the rest of it. But yesterday felt to me like he's feeling the pressure, and that's how he reacted. And I'm wrong, but that's how it looked like it.
His coaches should be in his ear. Like there's coaches there that were under Cooper as well. They should be there saying, "This didn't work. This doesn't work. Don't do that." It can't just be one man at the helm of everything, making every decision. He needs people who are specialists in each department.
But the buck stops with him, does it not?
The buck does stop with him, but someone's got to stand up to him and say, look, that might not be such a good idea, etc. Because there's all these fans, there's however many Forest fans in the world, most of them think the same way. They see the same problems on the field. So how is it that all of us see the problems and the issues, but the coaching team, who are professional football players themselves and professional coaches, how come they don't see what's wrong when everybody else who can see what's wrong? That's what doesn't make sense.
And where does the blame lie? And I was just going to ask you the question. I'm going to do shout out to Forest all over. I love it when they do the blame game post match on their podcast. Make sure you listen to the boys there, Chris and Matt.
Yeah.
Where does the blame lie? Not for the game, and I'm talking for the season now. Like, where would you put the blame? Because we're, at the moment, 3 points outside the relegation zone. Yeah, we know that's likely not to be the case. We know the ambitions of Marinakis were to try to push for top 10 at the start of the year. I think we're not going to quite make it this season. It's a little tight, but you know what I'm saying? But is the blame... And who do you put the blame on? Is it, the people off the pitch? Is it Marinakis? Is it the recruitment team? Is it the management? Where's your head at with the blame?
You know what? This happens. We've seen it before, haven't we? It sometimes happens at football clubs. Things just seem to keep going wrong. And people might not like this, but we've had a shocking injury record all season. Vital players out all season. And it does... For a club of our size, that does make a huge difference. It's not something you can just ignore. So we're constantly chopping and changing the team. We've chopped and changed the manager. I think that it's like one of those things where you think, oh, I wish we could start again because we've made so many mistakes, so many silly things, and we've had players that obviously haven't fit and have been disruptive. We've had people like Joe Worrell at the club until recently. This is not a slagging off of Joe Worrell, but he obviously wasn't part of the club, but he was club captain. Little things like that. So many things have gone wrong. And on top of all that, we've got points deductions to come as well. So that's like another thing that's gone wrong. We've had the injuries. We've had shocking refereeing decisions. We've had PSR issues. Now, I understand people saying, look, and that's part of football. You can't use those as excuses, but they are genuine reasons. We don't seem all this season to have had a consistent side that we can rely on. The back four, the three in the middle, the front three. They've changed practically every match, and I don't think any football club can be successful doing that. And I can't blame individuals. I can't blame the manager because obviously he's having to deal the hand he's being given. It's not his fault that this player's injured. This player's gone to AFCON and stuff. That's another thing we've had. AFCON, more players than anybody else. We've had a lot of things go against us.
But you could say, and on that point, you could say, why did they recruit, 8 African internationals who were going to go?
I think we sent away 6 in the end, I think.
Yeah,
but then
Taiwo was injured and someone else.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's a thought, isn't it? I mean, it's something that I thought to myself, well, they're going to miss probably 3 games. So do you not buy a quality player because he's going to miss in 3-4 games of a season? But the problem we have is we missed 3 or 4 games of the season, and then they came back injured.
Yeah.
You know,
And they're all
nobody
in
else
key
came back
areas, weren't
injured.
they, as well? That was the issue. They were in
In
key areas.
Yeah,
Fine.
absolutely.
The player
we've had some fantastic recruitment. We've got some brilliant players coming. Dominguez. I know you lot don't like Danilo anymore, but you know he's still a great player. Give him a chance. He's not changed from last year. He's only 21, I think. Murillo. You know, with players like this, Nico Williams has come through. He's now looking a fine player. But there's a lot of positives here. But we can't seem to put the same consistent team out each week, and I think that is the biggest contributory factor to what has been a shocking season. I said last week, look, we're all concentrated on the points deduction. If you dismiss that for a minute, we're 4th from fucking bottom. That's nothing to do with PSR. You know what I mean? We've had a shocking season where everything seems to be going and has gone wrong. And all we can hope and pray for is that in this last 8 or 9 games, we have some things going right for us and some consistency. But now Wood looks like he could be out. You know, what's next? Anyway, that's how I feel. It's just been an amalgamation of lots and lots of unfortunate circumstances. And you can call those excuses as much as you like, but I call them reasons.
We were a lot better attacking wise when we had Tavares in the team. He gave us
there's
that
another one.
pace
Sorry.
back.
Yeah, excellent point. He comes into the team, starts making a difference, and then he's
since
injured.
Since Tavares has gone, I think we haven't won a match, have we? Since Tavares has gone,
and that's fair due to Nuno, because there were a lot of doubters with Tavares, but he stuck with him. And I can understand why you were a doubter. That's reason.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask Rob this, because Ant hasn't really answered the question. He just gave 10 minutes of fence sitting. Yeah. Where do you... I think he blamed everyone and blamed no one is what I took away from that. Robbie, you got any more like specificness? Because he's going all political here. Where do you see the underlining issue? Is it one, or do you kind of agree with what Ant's saying there?
Well, I think recruitment hasn't been the best over the 2 seasons. Also, I think we need to consider that the Premier League is a closed shop, right? I mean, we are in a little group of 7 down the bottom, from Palace down, any of whom could go down. But all of those teams above us, the ones that you'd say are comfortable in the Premier League, they've had decades of investment in their teams and their stadiums and their whole setup, their set-piece coaches, all of the backroom staff. And I think that we seem to think that because we'd survived 1 season, that those fundamental challenges weren't going to be there in season 2. But I hate to say it, and no one's mentioned him yet, but we had season 2 is basically just season 1, but without Brennan Johnson. And I think we are really struggling because we relied on that player a lot last season, and we're now going to be penalised for not selling him to Brentford for 25 million. I wish we'd never sold him at all, because we're going to get a points deduction. We should have just had the point deduction and kept Johnson, because I feel like, unfortunately, nobody that we have recruited is
what
sufficient.
Tottenham call him?
I don't think anyone we've recruited is sufficient to offset the loss of such an important player at the start of this season. So thinking that
he's not doing that great at Spurs. He's not doing that.
It was important for us last season.
He's no better than Alanga or Callum Hudson.
Honestly, Rob, he's not special.
Think of the goals.
He will end up with Brentford or something. He will end up with Brentford.
He was for us. Think of the goals he scored against Leeds, against Leicester, against Everton. Think of those goals. And have we got anyone in the team that can score goals of that quality?
Yeah, Alanga.
Well, okay. I just thought he was worth a mention. Because
it's a fair point, because Owen's agreeing with you in the chat. This needs a thing. Yeah, this needs a poll.
This season is basically last season repeated, but without Johnson.
Even when the player goes on to play shit for another club, we still have this. If he was here, we'd be brilliant.
We're so guilty.
We're going to get the points deduction anyway. We should have just not sold him.
We were in a relegation battle last season, Rob. He didn't make any difference to our position.
What, you think that 1-0 we had at home against Leeds, you think he didn't have a role to play in that?
Yeah, but you can't put stuff in isolation.
Pick out this and that and that. And don't
Because
forget,
the biggest argument against that is to say, well, with Taiwo, we would have been without Taiwo, we would have been relegated. His goals in the last 5-6 matches kept us up. What did he go? 7 in a row?
His injuries this year have not helped.
I'm just forget that. I'm saying your argument that Jono kept us up. I could argue back saying Taiwo kept us up.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this season is a repeat of last season, but we don't have Brennan Johnson. So imagine we don't
have his dad coming back to our ground wearing a Spurs scarf either. So those two can do one. We got to move on.
We were trying to explain why we haven't kicked on into mid-table.
Yeah, but you can't just say
Johnson. This is the toughest league in the world, right? This is the absolute toughest league in the world. And, you know, those teams, certainly from 1 down to 13, are established. They have Premier League setups. They have Premier League stadia. They have Premier League squads that they've invested, in some cases, billions in, right? And we've thrown a lot of money at the solution, but we haven't dealt with the stadium question. And also, a lot of the money we've spent has been bad.
Yeah, but my argument are you saying recruitment has been the not only fault, but one of the fundamental faults?
I'll tell you what, I could go away and I could find you 45 million worth of players.
Rob, I can destroy your argument in one sentence. One sentence. You said the top 13 have got Premier League stadiums. Bournemouth are 13th. So, sorry, mate. Jog on.
Oh, okay. How many years have they been in the Premier League? Right?
Same as us.
No, because they had a run in the Premier. Right. Since the year 2000, they've had another run in the Premier League.
Why do you pick the year 2000? Why have you picked the year 2000?
Because we've been out of the Premier League since then. Right?
Yeah, so you're ignoring when we were in the Premier League. Right. That's my point. You're being selective.
Yeah, but when Bournemouth went up, they were basically in a yo-yo process, right? We got promoted with loan players. We'd had years of no investment. We'd had Chris Hughton, right? So I'm just saying you cannot go from that to being a comfortable Premier League team in just 2 seasons.
Bournemouth have invested, but they've invested wisely. If you go back to the start of this season, we did a show about who had the best transfer window, and Bournemouth, without doubt, won that show. They've recruited smartly. Well, I think
you said Forest.
yeah, you probably did. But
and I stick to it.
Yeah, but considering the size of their club and considering their ambitions, they're in a solid position, mate. We would kill to be where they are. So let's not go into that. But they recruited wisely, and the point that I think Rob was trying to make,
by the way. Relegated next season, by the way.
The point that Rob was trying to make was about our recruitment, and I agree on that one. We've made far too many mistakes. Not one or two mistakes. We made far too many, and it's costing us. Because I also talk about what I think Wolfie wasn't referring to, but it was kind of pointing towards that the attitude's wrong, and that's what we're seeing on the pitch, mate. The attitude from players, like, they don't give a shit. And
Brennan Johnson had a good attitude.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He used to stand on that fucking wing, watching the ball go over his head.
He never made
it down. This is recent.
He's on that wing doing nothing unless the ball was played in front of him for him to run onto. Other than that, he wasn't interested, mate.
And Brennan Johnson was the most important player for us in the Championship promotion season. Him and Jed Spence, for me, they were without a doubt. You can argue, but I can see you can argue both ways about Brennan Johnson's importance last year. But there's no way in that first half of the season last year, while he was finding his feet, while his mind was on the World Cup, that he was switched on to the Premier League. Yes, the second half of the season, he was, especially in that, was it January period where he just went red hot.
He was injured. We really lent on him then.
Single-handedly, I'll give you a stat, right? I'm guessing we can all agree that at the moment, Alanga is not in the best form, right?
Yes.
However, he's only scored 3 goals less than Johnson did all of last season in the league. I mean, there's still 9 games left. So you can't say that Brennan Johnson was the difference, because there's players in the team. We've scored more goals than we had at this point.
We've clearly lost an important player there, and where we've spent the money.
Your opinion. We've not clearly lost an important player. I don't think we've lost anything.
In my opinion, can I finish my opinion? Right. In my opinion, we have lost an important player there, and what we have brought in is not enough to compensate. And I got in trouble with you guys about 3 months ago for saying that at the time I wasn't that convinced that we had a better squad than last season, right? And
Rob, would you rather
I was including in that goalkeeping. Now, by the way, I think we should consider that we've largely fixed that problem now. I mean, how many games of Sells have we seen? 10 games of Sells. But at the point that we had that argument, and it was 1 against 4, I was arguing that I was not convinced that we had a stronger squad than last season. We've played half of this season with Turner in goal and Taiwo injured and no Brennan Johnson, right? So if I was going to put it down to 3 things, it's that. That is why we have not...
Rob, do you think Brennan Johnson is 15 times the player of Callum Hudson-Odoi? Because he got 15
we're into straw men again now. That was my opinion. I finished giving my opinion.
All right, it's fair enough.
It makes a difference, though, doesn't it? Because if we're getting 45 million for him, is he 15 times worth the player of Callum Hudson-Odoi?
I'm more popular than Cooper, so you have to take me seriously.
Well, you're not alone, Rob. You're not alone. On the poll, in hindsight, would you have kept Johnson? 43% have said yes. So there's a lot of backing in the chat. However, the majority is saying no. 58% would not have kept him. Okay. I look, let's agree on this. We are not going to be able to resolve what Forest's issue is on this podcast. I mean, it's like I said on the video today. I think you can make a case for anyone having the finger pointed at them and everyone having the finger pointed at them.
No, I would say
you ridiculed me for doing that.
I'll say that. Sorry.
No, you pointed at everyone. I said if you specifically point at someone, I'd say yeah, you're probably right. You just did it to everyone. Sorry, Ez, what you said?
No, I was just going to respond to Owen's comment there, but I actually didn't. I said I'd be happy with 17th, and that's where I think we'll finish. So I didn't say anything about being comfortably mid-table at all. So I just wanted to put that on record. The others might have, but I didn't say that. So yeah, carry on.
I say it's the Champions League. All right, let's just have a quick catch up with super chats. We got 634 of you in here across all our platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry, it's getting a little heated, but people have stuff they want to get off their chest. Noah, you're way too generous, buddy, with the 4.99. He says, I think Nuno is in real trouble if we lose to Palace and Fulham, but you've got to blame some of the players as well.
Yeah.
And we are getting screwed if we go down. 100%. I don't know. I think let's touch on this one. And the fan base clearly in the last 24 hours, the Cooperites have been out in force. You can almost feel like it's like a 17-year-old who hasn't jerked off for a while, and they finally found Playboy hidden under the dad's mattress kind of thing.
The young ones won't get that.
Where's this happening, and why wasn't I invited? Because I haven't seen this.
Just go to twitter.com, mate. Go to twitter.com, yeah?
X.
Oh, sorry, x.com, yeah. And honestly, it's like it's some of the comments I've seen are so funny. They're so funny. It's like Cooper's still available.
Midfield supporters.
This is Forest fans. And they're all entitled to their opinion, but it's quite funny. Anyway, the point is, and my worry here is that the divide is coming. Yeah, there's going to be, and I think there's going to be a quicker turn on Nuno than Cooper was granted, because obviously Cooper got us promoted, and what he will do will go down as legendary. But is this dangerous grounds we're stepping on as a fan base?
Yeah, we really can't afford to be divided. And
I'm back.
I'm actually surprised, because I saw a lot of people that were very solidly Cooper in, and that's their prerogative, that's their right. Be very supportive towards Nuno, came in. They had the right attitude. Well, look, we love Steve. We wish he hadn't have gone, but the new manager's in. Let's back him. But it seems like at the first sign of trouble, it's given them the excuse. And why anybody,
hypocrites.
People try. Sorry, not people, but people that support Cooper, that would like Cooper back. Try and remember how bad we were. Mm-hmm. Try and remember where we were, the run we were on, the football.
1 win in 11, wasn't it? Or 1 win in 12.
1 win in 11.
13
football. 13. There you go. It's going up.
Yeah, but you could say the same about Nuno, and their argument would be Nuno's won one game in the last, 8 or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
Yeah, one win in 8.
But even if, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form suggesting that Nuno should be sacked, but even if he was sacked tomorrow, that doesn't mean I'd want Cooper back.
No,
Do you want to two wrongs definitely don't make a right.
No, and the both they're not mutually exclusive, there's no way that's not even a conversation, and it just shows how lacking these people are in this. But
to Wolfie's
no, it's not.
Point,
it's not winning 14 under Nuno.
We really don't want. We're talking league a divided fan base, because one of the things that did get us through last season, if we're honest, was a united fan base. Last season, the fan base, although a lot of us weren't sure about
but
the style of football we were playing,
manager.
We still put the club before any personal animosity we may have had for any other individual, and that's what we must do now. So even if you don't like Nuno, even if you think he's worse than Cooper, please back him, because right now, until we, if we make a change at some point next season up, whenever, he's our manager. We need to back him, and people accused us of being anti-Cooper. We may have criticised strongly, but we still certainly supported him down the ground. So
and there's people down the ground who were booing Cooper. We never booed Cooper. We would never boo Cooper on that pitch. And I think it's shown now, because everyone was saying, "Oh, we have an anti-Cooper agenda." Yeah, we're sat here criticizing Nuno for the same things.
Yeah, so I've just got an anti-shit football agenda. That's all.
I haven't got to that point yet, because it's not been that consistent. But he's still got time to change it up. But what we saw under
if he don't go back to playing progressive, positive football and get us some wins and some goals, he can fuck off.
Exactly. So it wasn't a Cooper agenda. It was the tactics, the low block, the negative football, and that's what needs to change pretty quickly under Nuno now.
Yeah. But as someone who was the most Cooper in for the longest, Rob, I want to.
I thought you were going to say crypto. Sorry.
Do you see their perspective of it? A couple of stats that I've seen people chucking around. I mean, Owen's done it. It's stat padding, because they're adding like the FA Cup game, saying, well, Cooper was 1 in 13, Nuno's 1 in 14. I've seen the points per game. Cooper was roughly 0.91, Nuno's 0.92. So is that 0.01, people are saying, worth the difference in the atmosphere we're seeing in the City ground? Do you see where they're coming from, Rob, as someone who kind of held on till quite late with it?
Well, there was a point at this season where I couldn't imagine ending the season without Cooper. But we have to remember what the sequence of events was. He was given more time than most managers would have been. He was given possibly too long, 1 point in 7. And, the stats aren't great under Nuno, but I would say, we haven't been turned over like we were at Fulham. I mean, that was just unbelievable. So we haven't reached those depths yet. But having said this, if you roll back to the very first debate we had about this subject, all of this was expected, because I said the problem is one of the reasons for not sacking Cooper was you were going to have a set of people who were going to be right there when the replacement, whoever it was, didn't deliver, right? But I mean, all I'm going to say now is that from this position with these 9 games to go, if we do get relegated, this kind of turning on each other will be the main reason from this point onwards, right? Not referees, not injuries, not nothing. And this is something that we can control, right? Let's have the debate after the end of the year when we know what the outcome is. Because having it right now is absolutely pointless and self-destructive. So can we just switch it off, please?
I think that's the best thing you've said. I fully agree, because I always say it when a new manager comes in, unless you're bringing in... So what was your favorite manager called? I forgot his name. Nathan Jones. Yeah, then you get rid of him the same day. Yeah. But
or
for
Sean
me, I
Dyche.
don't mind people wanting to push their Cooper agenda, but these are the same people that were applauding Cooper after we lost 5-0 to Fulham. You know, we're sitting
I
here
don't think
saying
anybody
Nuno's
was
got it
doing
wrong.
that. I don't think anybody was doing that.
Yeah,
Are
they
you
were. It was like
joking?
standing
Did you not see the
standing
away fans?
ovation in the ground.
All right, I am still interpreting that as them thinking that he was going to get sacked the next morning, and they wanted to show their gratitude
Yeah,
for
I
getting
agree with you on
promoted.
that one.
I'm not
I
convinced.
don't think they were saying, "Oh, bravo! We would like to see this on a weekly basis." I'm not.
It
that
was the
wasn't
case against
message that I
Leicester,
took
but
from that.
not
Happened against
Fulham.
Leicester, yeah,
They
exactly.
saved that rhetoric for Twitter, didn't they?
Yeah, but my point is, if you're gonna do it, you gotta be consistent. You can't give Cooper a pass for a 5-0
Well, look,
thrashing.
he's not coming back anyway. So let's. What is the point of that discussion?
Let's move on. Let's move on because
true.
we got to talk about something that you wanted to bring up, Rob. I'll bring crypto in on it first, and I really don't want to do it, but we're gonna have to talk about it. These goddamn free kicks and corners and dead ball situations from Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he's one of our most talented players, Ben, but he is absolutely getting to the stage now where if he got dropped from the team, I'd be quite happy because by de facto, I'd know he can't take free kicks and corners, even though we would lose so much on the pitch.
It'd be a bonus, wouldn't it?
And I don't want to feel like that. But why is it still happening, Crypto? What's the answer to this?
I mean, again, this one for me has got to go on the management. It's not Morgan Gibbs-White's fault that he's being put on set pieces. When he was stood over that free kick yesterday, all I could think of, this is going into row Z. There's zero confidence that he is going to score. I think he put one. To be fair, he had an okay game. Obviously, he got the assist, etc.
Yeah,
he put maybe one or two good crosses in, but the corners again just straight to the first man. And it was quite funny because the commentators were saying,
every single one of them to Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
But the commentators were saying, "Oh, Morgan Gibbs-White is an excellent set piece taker. Get this."
I was going to bring that up. I was going to say they obviously never watch him. It just like lazy journalism. Sorry for Lucky to have a great technician in Morgan Gibbs-White who puts in these kind of deliveries.
Yeah,
it
but
could
they
be
don't know. But the thing that's really annoying me is that you've got players on the pitch like Nico Williams who can put a good cross in. When Toffolo plays, Toffolo is a brilliant crosser of the ball. Even Tavares was good. There's three or four other players.
He was in the door when he came on.
Yes.
Yeah, four other players.
Yeah.
Murillo, yeah. Fuck me,
But at the end of the day, it's down to the coaching staff. The coaching staff. This is what I was trying to say earlier. How can we see it as fans? We're not professional football coaches. We can see it. It's so obvious. Yet, apart from Wolverine,
I have certificates.
But we can see it. It's so obvious. But the people who are the pros, who are getting paid all the money to do the job that they're in, they can't see a simple thing like Morgan Gibbs-White cannot take.
And this is the thing. We can't even blame that Simon Russ because he's not the set piece coach. We're not employing him as a set piece coach, so you can't blame him anymore.
I think Morgan Gibbs-White is a set piece coach.
It's
on Nuno. The book stopped with Nuno. You've already said it. It's stopped.
You know what? You know what I was thinking yesterday, right? Do you remember the memed first corner we had against Newcastle last year where everyone ran into the box late? Yeah. Do you remember that one? I would take seeing that again, just so it's something different. Yeah, just so it's something. At least that told me that was a little thinking, stupid thinking, but behind the scenes there was some thinking.
Our corners are the most basic corners you can do. You get your big men in the middle and you curve it into the middle. Hope that one of your players gets on the end of it.
I am fearful when we get a corner.
I know that people don't like to talk about Arsenal, but have you seen the variety
from a defensive point of view? Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, because we're not going to cause any trouble to them, are we?
I am worried every time we get a corner because I think that they're going to head it out, go up and score.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's more annoying than Morgan Gibbs-White set pieces is the fact that every game for about the last 50 games we've conceded a goal from set pieces. Every single game. Look I mean, if you were a betting man and you'd put like I don't know what it's called, like an accumulator on the last 10 games to concede by set pieces, you'd be a millionaire by now.
And we've got good defenders, haven't we? So it can only be the coaching. It can only
And sorry to interrupt you. One second, Ez, get out and come in. You're lagging. You're like 30 seconds behind when you're starting to talk.
Back to the good old days.
But we're back to the Cooper times. Yeah. Sorry, Ant, you were saying.
No. I was just saying. In fact, I can't even remember what I was. That was more than 30 seconds ago. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mentioned the basics. Oh, I don't know. I fucking forgot. It's been a long.
Okay. Well, let me say this, right? This isn't sanctioned by FFTV, right? I'm just saying, each person here speaks on their own accord, and you can say what you want, chat. You can say what you want as well. We don't care as long as you don't cross certain lines. These lines are weird these days. But anyway, Rob sent me something earlier that he wants to share with the chat. Again, I'll reiterate, not sanctioned by FFTV.
It's not his nudie fix, is it? I'm fed up with them.
Is this your petition?
Oh, he's giving it away now.
That didn't make me laugh.
I can also say that as an individual, Rob doesn't represent my
endorses.
Click the link in the chat. So basically,
I know Sharky's a fan anyway.
Yeah, I know he doesn't. He's not. So no, I think I just decided it was time for the fans to stage a bit of an intervention on this issue, right? Because we can all see it, and clearly the management cannot. So my first step, and obviously I've been a political activist my whole life. My first step on this is to get a petition.
Never won, but
get Morgan Gibbs White. If we can get like 5,000 signatures on this petition, I will deliver it in person to the City Ground. And failing that, we could organise a. It already has 6 signatures. So just another 4,994 to go.
They all look like you're writing, though. That's all I don't get.
I am one of the
Parliament.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to sign the petition, then if we get 4,994 more signatures, I will deliver it in person to the City Ground, and you can change the world. And maybe change the rest of the season. If we can get 5,000 signatures on this petition maybe by the next game, we will have somebody competent taking corners.
Yeah,
we can do it. We can do it. So,
hold on. They're all asking where is it?
Ignore that. We should have a demonstration outside the City Ground, and I will make the placards. Right, we'll make the placards. And if that doesn't work, I think we should have a fan walkout until somebody competent is put on corners. But has it not gone on long enough for you guys?
Rob, can I make one point, Rob?
Wait, just before you do, Crypto, they're all asking in the chat, where is it? I've pinned it to the comments. Again, this is not FFTV sanctioned, so just look at the top of your comments.
It's
there. Click on it. Click on it.
Rob, after if you were to go to the City Ground to hand in a petition to Morgan Gibbs White, I'm not sure security would let you through after your comment.
I'm going to hand it to Nuno.
Run him over. Okay, but you've already stated you want to run him over.
Oh, you stated that. You misinterpreted me. My worst case scenario, if he was run over by a bus, and if that did happen, the corners would improve.
I mean, they would improve, but it's a bit harsh. We would have lost yesterday if Morgan Gibbs White got run over.
Worrell could take better corners than Morgan Gibbs White.
Has
he not had enough opportunities?
Did we tell you we've got an interview for you with Morgan Gibbs White next week set up? Did we mention that?
Well, that's the good thing about this channel. We know there's no danger ever of any of the players or staff coming on here.
Oh, you'll be surprised. We've got a few things lined up. Watch his face.
Well, look, as long as if he does see it, which is very unlikely, as long as he understands that it's done from an affectionate point of view. But for God's sake, please, will he stop taking the corners?
We've got Simon Russ coming on next week.
Has he signed the petition?
He signed his P45. All right. So if you want to sign that, feel free to do so. There's we've got 700
share it as well. You've got to
share alike. All right. If you guys want, we might put it on our Twitter as well. So just a quick reminder, we've got 700 of you in here across all the platforms. Please make sure if you're watching on X or Twitter, whatever it's called, make sure you're following us. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed and you are hitting that like button. If you're watching on Instagram as well, shout out to you guys. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. And if you're not following us on any of those socials, make sure you are. We need to catch up with the super chats quite a lot. Apologies, guys. I'm just trying to find a nice break to bring it in. First one here from Simon F saying, appreciate the therapy, guys, helping, ... sort of. I am feeling a little better, I gotta say. I'm feeling a little bit better. Thank you so much, Si.
Like it might be like if we won a game.
Exactly. Thank you for the £2, buddy. Forest Hood with the £5. Can you tell Nicola to pay more attention to the conversation? Nicola, stop what you're doing and listen. But when Ez starts talking, you can switch off and do whatever it was that was distracting you. We've got Rob Senior.
20 minutes behind doing it. It says. Senior Swift here. Thank you so much for the £2. And Rob, you must have taught him how to put the message in because we got a message this time. So, Rob, what you're trying to say is ...
Well, I want to know why he's cut my appearance fee. I told him the minimum contribution was £5. He's obviously misheard.
Thank you so much, Senior Swift. We appreciate it. That's a pretty slick name. I like it. I made up for him there. Sharky with the 19 months. We need to stick together this week of all weeks. Yeah, we definitely do need to do that.
Agreed.
And Forest Hood as well, becoming a member. Thank you so much, buddy. Chris, thank you so much for the £2. Would definitely be bottom 3 if Steve Cooper was still in charge. I think would be bottom. Would we have beaten Newcastle or not? Let's not go down that road, but I fully agree with you. Thank you so much for the £2. Brinley, 18 months, Brinley. Thank you so much for all your support over the last year and a half. And look how handsome he is in that suit, man. Sharky with the £3. Thank you so much. Need to win in the next 2 games or Big M will act. Big M gonna...
Would he?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is Big M Morgan Gibbs White? I want him to act sooner than that. Take himself off the corners.
Take yourself off the corners. Okay, so we do have the PSR stuff coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
Potentially. Now, if we get an update on it tomorrow that it's not tomorrow, we will let you know. Probably will be first on Instagram and Twitter, so make sure you're following us on that. But I want to talk about some positives of the game. And I think this is where we need to start leading the emotion of the game. I thought there was a few key performances out there that were really good, despite what feels like a loss, even though we didn't lose. So I want to go around and I want you to each, and chat, you pick as well, who's impressed you in yesterday's match. And you can't pick the same one. So I'm going to start with Ez, because Ant always needs time to think. Ez, who stood out for you yesterday? Doesn't have to be because they scored or freaking whatever, but whose performance stuck out to you yesterday?
I think it's going to be easy to say. Did he ask you? Have you turned into Ant now?
No, I'm just saying, don't say
it could be any. It could be any of the back line. To be fair,
for being senile, he's only young, so he's got no excuse.
It could be any other back line, to be fair, but I'm actually going to say Willy Bolly because of the way he's come back from how long he's been out, and I thought he was fantastic yesterday. In the air, on the ground, he was really dominant. Even gave us a threat at set pieces. You know, that chance he had, man, that was the only decent set piece corner we put in. And he should have done better with it. He should have hit the target at least with that header. So I was really impressed with the way he came back in after such a absence from the team. So yeah, Willy Bolly was my man of the match yesterday, mate.
I was say man of the match. Just who impressed you? Who impressed you?
No, it's my man of the match. Right, he impressed me.
Okay, there's a lot in the chat. A lot of Bollies, Nico Williams, etc. Let me go to Crypto because he'll cry if someone else says who he wants. Go on, Crypto.
My boy, me and him.
You and Nico.
Nico Williams, man, he got a bit of criticism from some, not from me, obviously, earlier on in the season. But I thought he's brilliant at the moment. He's exactly what we want in a wing back. He can attack well. He gets past players. He makes good runs. He gets good crosses in, and at the same time, he's putting in all the effort to come back and make the key tackles as well. So by far one of the most improving players. I think for me, I'd probably keep him in now in the team sheet. I know that a lot of people argue, should Aina go in there? Because obviously Aina had a really good AFCON. And I think he won player of the position in at right back in the AFCON. But Williams for me is probably the first name on the team sheet at the moment. He's consistent. I watched an interview with him as well where he said that when Nuno came in, he walked into his office and said, "What do I need to do, boss, to be your first name on the team sheet?" And clearly, whatever it was, he's done that, because for me, he's been brilliant. So Nico Williams is the player for me at the moment.
Go on, whoever's next.
I was just going to add on to that. He said to Nuno, he says, "What do I need to improve on?" And Nuno obviously told him, and he's the most improved player this season without a doubt. So I'll agree with you on that one. But he would have been very good.
I'll jump in then, because we're getting down to more.
Wait, before you jump in, Anne. Before you jump in, I agree. Nuno's probably been the most improved player under Nuno. Sorry, Nico's been the most improved player under Nuno. Should Nuno not be getting some credit for that? Should he not be getting credit?
I said earlier on that Nico's, it's really. I'm really pleased as well, because he's had a really tough time. He came with a big price tag, struggled obviously. But since Nuno's come in, particularly, he's gone come on leaps and bounds, and he's looking a proper player now. I really like, and I agree with Crypto. I'd put him, one of the first names on the sheet, in his current form certainly. And I'm really pleased for him, because he did look like it's going to be another one of those that we paid a lot of money for, was just going to drift away.
Well, he was pigeonholed, wasn't he? He was pigeonholed as a right wing back, and I think he's transcended that. So I think for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's defending. It's from my perspective, his defending has improved amazingly. You know what I mean? We're seeing a different type of player now. I trust him. Put it that way. I trust him. I also think that Bolly was a. I don't know why I have this thing calling Bolly, because it's anyway.
Bolly.
I agree with Ed. I thought he was. What a difference! I thought if he'd have had him, I don't know, but if we'd have had him fit for the last 10 games, I think we'd have had more points. I really
that
do.
Tackle on Morris, where he got the ball through as well and set up the attack, that was brilliant.
That Morris guy was getting so wound up. He's like a little crybaby. Like Murillo was all over it.
So Mardy just kept going to ground. Could I add one as well?
I think most of us would agree that those two were probably the outstanding. Yeah. So my vote's going to go. My vote's going to go for Chris Wood, simply for the fact. That's why I jumped in, Rob. That's why I said I'll jump in, because he did what we want a striker to do. He scored a goal, and it was a good goal. It wasn't. I've seen so many times that go over the bar, or he's totally missed it. He cushioned it beautifully. It was a quality goal. The guy was there again. And you talk about what Johnson did last season. What's doing at least as much, if not more. You know what I mean?
When we
discussed double figures for him this season now.
He needs one more. He needs one more. But goals per game is pretty damn good.
Just let me finish this off, then you can jump in, because I've only got one more thing to say. I hope that. I mean, who'd have thought we'd have said this? A couple of months ago or whatever. I hope that injury is not bad. I mean, we've got 2 weeks, thankfully. That might be the biggest gift we can have, is those 2 weeks to get him fit, because we need him. Because that Taiwo, he's never going to be ready fit.
It looked like a thigh injury, though. He had a dead leg last season.
I know.
His hamstring.
It was after his quad, 6 months, because it's actually ruptured something inside. You know what I mean? And he's not the youngest player. But anyway, so my vote would go to Chris Wood.
So Friday night, I said 2 things which I now regret, which is I wanted to keep Omobamidele in and not bring Bolly in, and I wanted to start with Taiwo and not play Wood. And I'm pleased to say that both players proved the point. And I would hope that we see a lot more of Bolly and Wood in the remaining 9 games, because I think, Wood... I mean, Wood did a good overall.
See a lot more Big Willie and Wood, yeah.
I did feel like Wood did a little bit of his dropping back into midfield, but I felt like his involvement was more than the goal. It was little things, and but that goal, the first thing I thought was Taiwo wouldn't have scored that. I'm sorry to say, but he wouldn't have scored that.
Yeah.
And the other thing for me, the moment for Wood that impressed me the most wasn't his goal. It was the weight of the layoff of his pass for Elanga's chance. That was a beauty. You know, if Morgan Gibbs-White had fed that ball through BBC, because they only know Morgan Gibbs-White on Match of the Day, that would have been on the highlights reel, wouldn't it? I thought that the weight of pass on that was fantastic. And I think those two... Huh? Yeah.
Sorry,
I think
I shouldn't interrupt you.
That's all right. I think those two players that I had written off completely under Cooper, because he had no clue how to get anything out of them. Nico Williams and Wood are best improved. But my most impressive player for me yesterday was Matt Turner. I thought it was brilliant that he wasn't on the pitch. Because Sells, again, I didn't notice.
That's a cheeky one.
Let's give I just want to give Murillo a shout as well, because he was solid again yesterday. But his free kick from 60 yards, it was a free kick, wasn't it?
Oh man.
I know. When's it gonna come up for him?
I thought if that had gone in, end of subject.
He's trying to get noticed, isn't he? He's pissing me off because he's trying to get noticed.
He wants to play as a CDM. It's so obvious.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room?
As a CDM. Murillo wants to play where Yates plays.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room?
I am
gone.
What did people think of Sangare's performance?
Oh, we going there? Okay, you opened it up. Go for it.
Rob.
I think he did pass to Ross Barkley a little bit too much for me, and I don't know if anybody remembers that horrific error because we all say he's press resistant.
The
right?
volley one, yeah.
But you remember that horrific error he made against Fulham, where he sort of decided to change his mind about who he was passing it to, and he switched feet, and he got caught in possession. He showed signs of doing that again yesterday, and I would like him to keep it simple. For me, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great either. I would keep him in the team, but we wanted to see Dominguez and Sangare, and I think it was possibly because Nuno was trying to maybe put both of them marking Barkley. I don't know whether that makes any sense, but
Dominguez has been one of our best players consistently.
Yeah, I know. I would have had Dominguez on. I think. Do you know what? Dominguez getting booked after 9 minutes against Brighton or whatever. I don't think that's helped his case, because maybe Nuno was thinking like, if Dominguez comes straight in and like fouls Barkley and gets straight in the book after 9 minutes, then we're really in trouble. So maybe that's counted against him. But I felt like the Yates and Sangare selection was almost to have two-man markers on Barkley. And for the first 25 minutes, I think neither of them was properly picking him up. But then after that, they seemed to close up on him. But neither really offered us anything going forward.
Well, this is a problem with that formation or playing them two, because there was a 15-minute spell, I think somebody alluded to, where Ross Barkley managed to get 3 shots in.
It was all over.
He was unopposed. And then after that, I saw Yates actually sitting on him. But the problem is, I saw some good signs from Sangare, the way he switched the ball, the long balls, but how quickly, it doesn't take too long to think about his movements and his passing range. But the problem is, with a player like him, you need somebody more mobile and more agile to pair him up with, a Dominguez, or even at a push, a Danilo. But not with Yates. He just didn't work. The only way it did work is it frustrated them, but it didn't give us any attacking prowess. So you got to stick with Sangare for me, but you got to pair him up with Dominguez. And I'm sure
you're spot on. You're spot on. Let me show you why it doesn't work. And guys, this is why you need to download SofaScore, right? So let me just make this a little bigger for you guys. This was the problem for me. If you look at the average player position here, that's Sangare, number 6, and that's Yates over here. Now, obviously, this isn't where they're standing. This is them with the ball. But you can see the gap they're leaving through the middle here, which in the first 15 minutes, Barkley was just walking through unopposed, be it if he came up against Sangare or Yates, or they were backing off him. And then, as it says there correctly, Yates eventually stuck himself to him and stopped it. But this whole shape of the player's average position, for me, is all wrong. Elanga, what's he doing averaging touches here in the middle? I want him out here wide. Yeah. Tuffalo, his position is all wrong. Nico Williams is perfect for me there.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm back. Yeah, Nico Williams is perfect there. Toffolo should have been higher up that pitch on that left-hand side, and that goes back to, I think it was either Crypto or Ant was saying it when we had Nuno Tavares on there. He was playing a higher position here, which was forcing Callum Hudson-Odoi into more freedom. There's a lot of disconnect here, and if you look at it, it's too far spread as well. If you look at the Luton one, their shape is a bit more controlled and with more bodies committed forward. Obviously, they're going downwards on that map. And it's just the shape in general wasn't right. And what Rob was saying there, again, yes, Wood comes in really deep, and him and Morgan Gibbs-White sometimes end up getting in each other's way. This is obviously just average position. But if you want to, we won't talk more about it, but if you want to look at that, download SofaScore, the link's pinned in there, and you can kind of look at it to your heart's content there. But it really did for me that Yates-Sangare combo didn't work because there's too many traits that are similar in each player.
Well, we were saying that it was perhaps, or maybe I was saying, perhaps a little bit unfair to just drop Yates and replace him with Sangare alongside Dominguez. But now they've played a game together. If he's going to bring Dominguez back into that that position, one of them has to go. And has Sangare done enough to stake his claim? Probably. So it's maybe a little bit easier to drop Yates after having given them a game together, if you see what I mean.
I don't think it can be.
It shouldn't be like that. Yeah,
it can't be unfair to drop Yates when he's dropped our best midfielder. Surely that's unfair. Dropping Dominguez.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I don't know what the Dominguez was played out of position against Brighton, and I think he just didn't help himself with that early booking that he got, which I think was remarkably harsh.
So is that punishing him for that then? Is that what?
I don't know. I just thought
with an international break, it's not about them being. They've got another game coming up, is it?
No. Look, Dominguez has to be back in the team for those two home games, without a doubt. Because I mean, I would be backing him to get a goal or assist in that type of game as well. Whereas I don't think Sangare or Yates is going to make any such contribution. So in fact, there's an argument you could even start with Dominguez and Danilo for those games, or one of them, if you want to go all guns blazing. It depends on whether you're trying to contain any particular midfield threat or whether you want just additional goal threat from all over the pitch.
I think the only way Danilo is going to go guns blazing is down to the Championship because he's completely out of form. You need to start Dominguez.
That's harsh. Let's not forget what he did last season. I mean, Ant, you were saying earlier.
Listen, guys, we've got 9 games to go. 5 of them are at home. Okay. Yes, we've got some difficult. We've got Man City.
Yeah, one of them Man City, by the way.
Yeah, but you can't argue that Danilo's form has dropped off a lot.
No, we're not. But the first name on the team sheet that we'd said for weeks was Dominguez, and that doesn't change for me, But you got to stick with Sangare. You have to, even if it's just from the investment point of view, but certainly from a longer term point of view. I don't think you can rely on Yates, and it hasn't worked. I'm sorry, it's 1 point out of the last 4 games. Just hasn't worked, So he's stuck with him. I hope it's not to do with the fact that he's a captain and he doesn't want to drop him. But Nuno can't be sentimental like that. He's just got to play his best team. And for me, in the best team with everyone fit, it's not Yates who starts in that CDM position. It's got to be Sangare and Dominguez, and we haven't seen it enough. I don't know. I don't know why we haven't seen it enough because we all. I think certainly on the panel, I think we agree that's the best pairing, isn't it? So I'm frustrated from that point of view because I've seen it once or twice this season, not for a full game at all. So I need to see it to be proven wrong that it won't work, but it's got to be better than playing with Yatesy.
All right, let me just catch up with the super chat. Forrested with the £5. Thank you so much for yet another super chat. Nicola now wants to know what you do with the money. Well, first, YouTube have to take their cut from it, which is like 40%. So if you do want to donate, you can donate directly on !tips.
Or meet me outside the fun zone on a Saturday when Forest are playing.
I'll put Ant's direct bank account details on there for you. But yeah, the rest of it really goes to backstage production, getting these guys mics. Ant's makeup lady is so expensive, man. Ever since the pandemic. Yeah.
That is a real moustache.
So thank you so much, Forrest.
Nobody'd make a false one that looked like that, would they?
And then this is the best way to finish the show. Chris Brown with the £2, and you're a pillock.
Best comment
And
of
I
the
think
night.
on that positive note, we will end the show. Hopefully, you guys are feeling a little bit better. If anything breaks tomorrow, we've of course got daily videos coming out, but we will put together a live stream once everything's broken. It'll probably be about 9:30. And what?
Yeah, Rob and I are selling tickets. We're to watchers. We're sitting next to each other for the Fulham match, so it should be quite entertaining.
It will be.
Are you actually sitting next to each other?
Yeah.
You're in the same section. I know.
Top of the Brian Clough stand near the halfway line, right?
I think you'll find after this stream, Rob, that you've been banned from the City Ground for that petition.
I'll shave off my moustache and then won't recognise it.
They never recognise thinking.
On that note, Simon with the positive saying, Ant's not a pillock. He's a lovely man. No, he's a pillock.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We may see you tomorrow night at 9:30. Thank you for all tuning in. I'm feeling a little bit better, so I hope you guys are as well. And yes, not sanctioned by FFTV, but if you want to go and sign the petition, there you go. The link's in the comments for you there. Please hit that like, get over 200 likes. Thank you to everyone watching on Twitter and on Instagram. And don't forget, if you want to catch up on the podcast, they're all over on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else you listen to your podcasting. Just search for Forest Fan TV. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.
You Reds.